and welcome back to the podcast, guys. So this one's going to be slightly different. So on the podcast today, we've got my partner, Samantha Cooper. This is one that you've all been waiting for, you've all been asking for. So we're going to be going through exactly how we met, the story behind JD training, and the ins and outs of everything else. So Samantha, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So I suppose we better start at the beginning. Where was it that we met, and what was that like for you? And then I'll tell the real story.
Okay, at work, because we were both prison officers, so it was in the jail. And it was pretty horrendous first meeting you. I'm joking. No, we worked together, didn't we? We were on opposite weekends, but you started doing overtime, so you were working our weekend, and got to know each other like that. And we had a...
Did we?
Yeah.
We actually first met properly when, shout out a good friend of mine, Michael Shepherd, down at Carpet World. I trained with Michael, and I spent 8 to 10 weeks away in a hotel with him, got to know him really well, and he already knew Sam. I was going through a breakup at the time, and Shep invited me to a party at Sam's house.
Which I didn't know anything about.
Yeah, Sam knew nothing about the party and nothing about the fact that I was invited. And I would say that's probably where we first met and spoke properly. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, probably spoke properly. I mean, I don't know if I'd say spoke. You were absolutely arseholed. So I don't know if there was...
That is very true. So, yeah, again, not my finest moment. And Sam, I remember Sam cooking fajitas.
No, it was, yeah.
And I ended up being sick on a front doorstep. Was it?
Yeah, just stuck your head straight out the front door and was sick all over the steps.
So at least I wasn't sick in the house.
No.
And that was down to Shep, so shout out to Shep for that. So that's kind of how we met. And then at that point, I suppose at the time, I had a house in Preston, I had a house up the coast.
Yeah.
I was in a position where I was trying to obviously change that and move away. And the prison service offered what was called a pit move, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I applied for the pit move, which meant that they essentially paid for you. They bought my house off me, paid for me to move and go work at the super jail down at Wrexham. And we'd started seeing each other,
Yeah.
was kind of got in a relationship. And I remember saying to you, like, well, I'm going to be going, I've got to go. I'm selling the house, it's going through there, and we'll carry it on. And you were like, well, I've kind of just come back from Australia, I'll kind of come with you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we got serious, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, we just shoved our lives in the back of that Mini and set off with Cat sat on back, didn't you?
Your cat, yeah.
Didn't we?
And that's kind of what happened, yeah. So at that point, when you're making them kind of decisions, I was going anywhere. And I remember saying to Sam, like, look, you don't have to come. I don't expect you to come. It's a big step, blah, blah, blah. But I kind of had, obviously, the motive of I needed to move. I had a house that I needed to sell. Again, I moved to Cumbria for different reasons, and it was kind of a good get out clause. And then obviously saying to you that, and then you was like, I've just come back from Australia. So we literally did just pack everything on that.
Up sticks and move like a couple of weeks later, didn't we?
Yeah. So, and then obviously moved to Wrexham. How long was there?
Like 3 years, I think.
How long was there before Giovanna? 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I suppose at that point then, obviously, we moved to Wrexham. Obviously started working at jail, which went not great.
For you. I got on all right, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, I had bumped heads with management, let's say, and ended up working at a different jail. But and that was the best jail that I ever worked at, and was absolutely class. I met some really good people there. But then we had Giovanna,
yeah.
And that kind of, when you decided you wanted to move back up here, kind of thing. Talk to me about that then. Talk to me about, obviously, we've met. Talk to me a little bit about that, like from your end. Because that's what people want to know.
What, like when we met?
Yeah, well, when we met and from there, yeah.
So I remember like the first kind of like time we'd spent any time with each other, and I had like this file of facts. I'd just come back from Australia, so it just had like my life in it, didn't it? And you pointed it and you were like, see that? You're going to need that to put up with me because I'm a nutter. And I thought, well, all right then, mate, kind of thing. No, he was right. I needed more than that because you are an absolute nutter.
I was.
Well, you still are.
Yeah.
You still are.
And I suppose, like, that's the thing to kind of go through. Like, obviously, people see it now, and JD Training's took off. The online side of it's took off, and we've built quite a big brand and a big business together. But at the time at which we first met, kind of, I was going through a breakup. My brother had died.
You had a lot going
My
on.
nan had died.
Yeah.
I remember someone will go through the questions on the chat. Someone was like, "Oh, how did you get with Millionaire Joe? I was like, fucking hell. I had 2 mortgages to pay. I think I had 10 grand on a credit card and had not much going, and was constantly getting myself in trouble, probably inside and outside of work. So it wasn't like
You liked to go kick off back then, didn't you?
yeah, it wasn't a very glamorous kind of meeting, was it? Like, we didn't go out dating and go on nice
No.
trips or anything.
In fact, do you remember when we booked that week off just before Christmas and we literally didn't leave the house, did we?
No.
We were just...
We literally just drank wine, ate food, and I went to the gym, and that was about
We used to like push them 2 sofas together and just watch films, didn't
yeah, and
we?
I think that's for me, that was what was different. It was like I was in a bit of a weird kind of place at the time, and it was kind of my shut off, wasn't it? And then as time went on, so obviously then we had Giovanna, and things massively changed from my end. That's one thing I would say. Like, probably not so much from your end.
No, I don't think.
But for me, like, life massively changed, and then you decided you want to come back up here, and that's kind of how we came, didn't it? So, talk to me a little bit about that. Then, why did you want to come back up here? What was your thought process behind that?
Well, we were completely on our own in Wales, and you worked like over an hour away, wasn't it? We still keep it like over an hour away, wasn't it? And for me, going back to work and stuff like that, I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna logistically do it all. But also, like, I grew up around all my family, and I mean, still, my mum's in house now, isn't she? Like, I just think it was really important for the kids to be around a good family like unit, like especially because doing the job we were both doing then, you work like long shifts and you're out for a lot of the day, and the alternative would literally be in childcare every second of every day, which I don't think either of us really wanted, did we?
No, and you obviously wanted to go on and have like a whole fucking tribe of kids, and we end up having 4 kids. So it definitely,
if you've got one, why not have 4?
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't have worked, would it? So looking back, it was definitely the best decision. But I just remember at the time, like, I remember, like, and I hold it against you to this day. I really thrive off negative energy, don't I?
Yeah. And I'm like the complete opposite.
Yeah.
I'm like sunshines and rainbows over here.
Yeah. So I can remember like one of the conversations we started to have early on in the relationship. I remember, and it kind of hit home for me at the time. So obviously I went and I've done like a lot of self-development since Giovanna and stuff like that. But I remember one time saying to you something along like, why are you so happy?
Oh yeah.
You'd get out of bed in the morning. And I'd be like, why are you so happy? And
you'd like get up and growl in the morning and be like, ugh.
Yeah, and you'd be like,
why have you got a smile on your face?
Yeah, I remember you kind of saying, no, I'm not the problem. The problem is, why are you not? And that's something that still sticks to me to this day. Like, why am I not? But the flip side of that is you are pretty relaxed in life, aren't you? Pretty content. Yeah. You've got good perspective, whereas I'm very, very driven. Yeah. And I think that's what an outlet for it.
Makes our dynamic quite good though, because you are quite like intense.
It won't work otherwise. that's for sure.
And I'm just quite like chilled and we'll just go with the flow. Yeah. Whereas Joe like needs to do things 2 days ago, and then starts like 15 things and
yeah, exactly. And you see, your typical ADHD entrepreneur, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I remember like I need negative energy, and I remember like obviously, I'm a little bit older than you, not massively, but I'd kind of had
although he looks a lot.
Yeah, I look older now. I was a boy back then. You were batting back then. I'm not so sure now, but
we'll just like to put. He's supposed to wear glasses at this point.
Yeah, I was a boy back then. So I remember driving. We'd been up here for, I think it was Giovanna's birthday, and we were driving back, and as always, I recognise that I'm quite a dominant man, Anna. So like if I'm left to my own devices, I will just dominate, make decisions. And I recognised that quite early on when the prison service sent me to therapy, really. So it was more like I recognised that. So I used to put it onto you, same as I do now. Like, what do you want? You tell me what you want, and I'll go do it. That's kind of how we work in it. And you find it really uncomfortable because you don't like making decisions.
I just like to weigh up all my options, where Joe will make a life-changing decision.
It takes you 2 years to weigh them options up, so that's the issue. So that's how we work. Is I'm quite aware that I'm quite a dominant male, and to counteract that, and things that I've learned from past relationships and therapy and development and stuff like that, is I put it on you, don't I? Like, what do you want? And then I'll go do it. I'll be the doer, but as long as I know that it's aligned with you. So I remember we were driving back from Wrexham, and I remember saying, like, what do you want? Like, do you want to move back there? Do you not want to move back there? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I was in the prison service, and I'll openly admit I was struggling at that point because obviously we'd had Giovanna. I was struggling to be a dad and a prison officer, and it was making me
Yeah.
overreact at work. And that's one of the things I will always say, that I've always used use of force and stuff like that as kind of as it's meant to be used, or because I felt there was a direct threat. But when I went back after Giovanna,
Yeah.
I saw everything as a direct threat. I just took everything as you're trying to send me home assaulted to my daughter, and I dealt with it all like that. And it wasn't funny anymore. I'm not scared to admit I was a little bit more. I wasn't scared before, and now I was a little bit more scared. So there was a lot going on.
It's definitely, you've got to wear, to do that job, you've got to wear a certain hat, and it is definitely really difficult to go from doing that for 12 hours, 13 hours, whatever it would end up being, to come home and be like a dad or a mum. Like, it's
Yeah, and
a difficult dynamic.
I couldn't do it. I could do one or the other. So I remember saying, there's a lot going on. I remember saying to you, like, what do you want? And you was like, oh, I want to move back to Cumbria, but that's not going to happen. And I always remember, and I held it against
Oh
you.
my God.
And it was Shep's wedding as well when we went. Shep again, shout out to Shep. It was Shep's wedding when I said it to you. And I always remember you looking, and when you said it, and I hold it against you to this day. But I need things like this. I'm the same with my mum. I need things like this. This is what gets me going. And again, I've worked with Phil Graham quite a lot, and he says, like, the thing that gets you there is not the thing that's going to take you to the next level. And again, I'm quite aware of that. But I remember you looking at me and saying, well, yeah, of course I do, but that ain't going to happen. And you meant it. And I remember looking at you thinking, you must think I'm some dickhead.
Oh, well,
You
yeah,
must-
I do think you're a dickhead.
you
Let's
must
just get
think-
that straight.
I had a life before you. I'd done various things, and I remember it lighting a fire underneath me that was like, right, watch this then.
Right, but I'd just like to point out that isn't actually what I said. And we have this conversation. We have this conversation all the time, right? It's like, you told me. No, I didn't. What I said was, you worked at a jail in one region, I worked at a jail in another region. The chances of us both getting a transfer on at exactly the same time was never going to happen. And I said, and it's not going to be that easy. Like, things like this take time. Joe took that as a direct insult. Like, I was like, you are never going to achieve this.
Yeah, so pretty much that's how I took it. She says that's what happened. We all
It's
know
what
she's
happened.
probably having a female conversation with herself, but that's what happened. And I could tell by the way the big thing for me is when I could tell by the way she looked at me, and I was like, okay, but again, for me, that's what I need. So I went away, got the transfer. I obviously couldn't get a transfer, and I won't go into much detail about that. But you obviously could get a transfer. We managed, got a job up here. The governor that I was working with at the time, absolutely fucking brilliant with me. And I managed to pull a few strings, and you got the transfer up here.
Yeah.
And we kind of moved back to Cumbria at that point, didn't we? So
It's my mum and dad's.
yeah. And again, people will know that have been at the in-person events. Like, I always give Sam's mum and dad like a voucher and something like that, or like a night away at one of the hotels, or when I'm giving out all the client event stuff. And the reason for that is, we moved back and we moved in with your mum and dad.
Well, I moved first, didn't I, if you remember? And then you were stopping at Robbo's.
Yeah, so you moved first. I had to stay down there and finish off my kind of period down there.
Week.
And then we moved back and we lived with your mum and dad, which again was like a massive culture. Like, you loved it. We used to argue because you loved it, but it was a massive culture shock for me. I'd left home at 19 and never been back. So I was living in someone's spare room. Obviously we had Giovanna. I felt like a proper bum. Like, I'd moved up here, obviously. Bit rough around the edges
You had
anyway.
Rob in your undies for you.
Yeah, a bit rough around the edges anywhere. I wear a tracksuit, but I knew obviously I'd done a fair bit in life at that point, but I felt like people were judging you, and again, it goes back to that. That's what I needed. I needed that to be like, right, watch this then. And again, people that were there at the time, like, never forget, like, say your dad, we always get your dad and mum and dad something, because again, they supported us. We were meant to move out after 4 weeks, and then I sold my house, so we ended up staying there for much, much longer.
Yeah.
And again, like your dad, like, say, I remember coming downstairs one day, true story, and he was ironing my boxers.
He was.
I remember having a
Rob's a legend.
big argument with you, being like, listen, we need to move, because if we don't, like, I'm going to move back to Bamber Bridge and commute, didn't I? Because I was like, I can't have a grown man ironing my boxers.
With his Christmas music.
Yeah. And then shout out to Rob. Rob used to knock on, didn't he?
Yeah, to wake you up in the morning.
Bear in mind, I'm a grown...
Joe, just checking you up.
Yeah, I'm a grown ass man. I moved out when I was like 19. Like, I'm used to fending for myself. I've had seen and done a bit of life, and I've got Rob knocking on, being like, Joe, just making sure you're up, which again, just taking me in as one of his own, and has done since the start as well. And that's why, again, he trains with us, Incredible Transformation. Go check it out. But that's why, and again, they're coming away with us recently. I never forget that. And same Shep as well. I remember going and helping Shep and him, just getting me along on a few jobs. He's like, oh mate, I need a hand, and he was paying me a few quid in cash and looking after him when I first moved up here. And that's why them people that were around, people look from the outside in now thinking, because it is quite a big brand, because we have done well. Obviously the branding, the podcast, everything looks a certain way. People think it's always been that way. And it was this
people
was literally
don't
5 years ago.
Yeah, like know what's gone into it, do they?
No. So we moved up here and then got pregnant again. So then we had Roman. So by that point I sold my house in Bamber Bridge. We'd bought a house in Dalton, like a kind of 2 up, 2 down kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which at the time we were made up with.
Oh yeah, it was lovely.
A lovely house. We'd moved there, like with nice area.
Quiet,
with that back garden, bit of decking. We were made up with, and like unbeknown what was going to happen. And then COVID came.
Oh yeah.
I was like working with kids in care and working at the Swan. COVID came, and then I started PTing.
Yeah, because we had Roman like 2 weeks into lockdown or something, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was mental.
Yeah. So talk to me a bit about that then. So obviously, I'm sure your mum, your dad, you all thought I was mad, but obviously I started PTing, started build up a bit of a community. It started to massively take shape locally, and then obviously I give up my job, didn't I? So what were you thinking then when I give up my job?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I think we just had
too many kids.
Yeah, I think we had that much going on.
Yeah.
It was just like, we kind of just went with, well, I mean, I do always kind of just go with the flow, I think, don't I? Like, I'm like, yeah, I'll sort this bit out. You sort that bit out. And yeah, it was just like, trying to navigate having 2 kids when you really couldn't leave the house much. Like, that was bonkers as well. Because they were both with us, weren't they? Like,
just shout out, Sam didn't leave the house.
No, I didn't.
Sam,
you used to work in
you
way.
have rules. You're like, oh, I'll stay in the house. I'm going to do exactly as I'm told, and I can't go out for more than one walk.
Well, if we were both bonkers, Joe, God
I was like,
knows what happened.
I was like, for people out there, people think I've got an issue with.
And he does.
No, I don't. With authority.
Multiple issues.
And I do have multiple issues. But people think I've got an issue with authority, and I definitely don't. What I need is legitimate authority. If I don't believe in something, or I don't believe the person that is telling me what to do has done the thing, and I don't have respect for them, and I can't see the science in it, I can't see the logic in it, I just do my own thing.
Yeah, so for context, that's every human being on the planet, Joe.
Apart from Phil Graham and a couple of others. No, definitely not. So yeah, I that's exactly how I remember it. It was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and you were just like, right, kind of just do what you want. We just had that much going on.
Yeah,
it wasn't even like a conversation, was it?
No.
It was just
it just kind of happened. And then I remember, I can't remember, was it maybe like Sarah or Carol, you were PTing, and we were scratching around trying to find, and I was ringing my granddad like, where can Joe do some PTs? Yeah. And he was like, Griesbeck Community.
Yeah. Outside
community centre, I'll give you the number. So we rang, and I was like, can you come and do it in like 10 minutes?
Yeah. And
she was like, yeah, just send us a £5 or whatever it was.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Obviously, as Boris changed the rules during lockdown, it got to the point where you couldn't go in other people's gardens.
Yeah.
So that's why I took on the community centre. And it got to the point, shout out to them, but it got to the point where I was paying them like a rent. I was paying them like, went from having like 5 or 10 clients to doing 60 hours a week outdoor, like paying them per client, which obviously financially wasn't right for me at the time, but it was the only place that I could get somewhere. It was sheltered, it had lighting, so I could PT at night and stuff like that. And it just kind of built up from there. Obviously, you're still working at this point.
I'd just got 2 promotions at this point.
Yeah, so you'd had 2 promotions, but obviously with the kids and maternity and then going part-time and that kind of stuff, I then breached the subject, didn't I, like, coming on board.
Yeah.
And I think, you were just completely against it.
I think I was just a bit like, I will help you, I'll do whatever, but I'll keep my own job at first. And then quite quickly, I mean, because at this point we had 3 kids, didn't we? Because we had a mirror at this point.
I don't even know.
We had 3 kids in childcare, which was costing like $1,000 or something a month. I was driving to the jail, which is like an hour away, 50 minutes an hour away, give or take traffic. You were PTing in the morning, PTing at night, had a job through the day, but it did just get to the point where it was like, I either need to just come on board and, you know, hand my notice in and stuff at the jail, which wasn't easy because I did love the job. And you know, I've always had my own job, haven't I? But I don't regret it at all. It was definitely the right decision.
As always, Sam's skirting around the truth. So Sam was pretty to the point. She said, I'm not coming on board and doing as you tell me. Like, she had issues with regards to that. That was the first issue, wasn't it? You was like, you're a nightmare. Like, you just think you've had a conversation with yourself like 9 times in your own head.
Which is all true. And anybody that knows Shaw knows that it's true.
You think everyone should live to your standards. Not everyone's the same. Like, it's going to be a nightmare. That was the first one. And then I think the second one again, going off, obviously you'd learned a little bit about, like, we were brought up very different. Like, I was out and about on the estate at 14, and
I was in Askham Town Silver Band playing the corner.
Sam was very reluctant to come on board because she didn't think I was going to pay tax. Pretty much.
But I was just like, I know, like, you're more comfortable with, like, the dodgy
risk.
Dodgy risk.
Not dodgy, risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's...
But now I understand how the whole thing works a lot better.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing to definitely talk about, though. That's exactly what your issues were.
Yeah, and it's not any, you know, me being I am, you know, completely reliant on you. It made me feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah, and we both were completely reliant on the business, especially more so now. And that's, again, goes back to and we'll go through the questions in a bit, but it goes back to the thing when people are like, oh, well, how do you balance this out? And it's like, what do you mean balance? Yeah. Like, there is no balance. There's no balance. It relies on the business funds, your wages, my wages, the kids' future, the house. So people talk about balance, and this is one thing I talk a lot on the Sunday calls is, like, it's not Instagram. It doesn't look like it does. Like, there's been a lot of sacrifice. But that initial thing was, it was costing us more money for you to go to work with regards to childcare, and also then me having time off, and I could earn more money PTing than you was earning at work. Yeah. Especially with the travel as well and the expenses that come with that. And then the second thing, the biggest thing was, like, you didn't want to essentially, and I get it, like, as an independence thing, it was like you didn't want to come on board because you wanted your own independence. And
it's also like quite difficult to go from a position where, like, I was a manager, I'd been a prison officer for however many years, like, to then having to take some sort of direction from you.
yeah, and I completely understand that, and there was that, we had Carol on as well, and I'm quite well aware, and was speaking to Dan before, like, that's one of the reasons we haven't built a big team, is because I've got very set ways, and if it's not done like that, I would struggle. So, and that's one of the barriers that I'll probably have to relinquish and work through if I want to grow a team. Right now, I'm happy with exactly where things are at, and everyone knows. And like I say, Carol reporting into you because you used to manage Carol in the prison service. It all just, that dynamic works. Whereas, and I just kind of do my own thing, kind of thing. Which obviously works for me. But I think the big thing as well is, like you say, is about the mistrust with regards. I don't want to labour on it too much about the business side, but it was a big step, wasn't it? We'd started earning money, and I wasn't used to that money. I wasn't used to running a business. I wasn't used to tax and VAT. I'd got some advice.
It's definitely, like, a lot to navigate at first. Like, until we got with Home and Finance. They were brilliant, but, like, you've got to try and figure all that stuff out at the same time as figuring out our new dynamic with 3 kids, our new dynamic with the working situation, and how the hell to, like, start and run a business, because it did kind of happen. Although I hate saying, it happened overnight, because it didn't. Like, so much has gone into it for years, but, like, the big kind of, like,
it did.
Bang, if you like,
the Gemma effect
did just happen, like, overnight, didn't it? And I remember it November? No, must have been end of October, start of November, was it? Because I'd took the kids to the Halloween party that Mum and Dad, like, have every year dinner, but I was sat there on my laptop sending out links, like, manually to everyone, and it was wild.
It was, but I think, like I say, it was you were just scared that I wasn't going to pay the tax bill, weren't you, really?
Yeah, stuff like that, absolutely.
You was, like, I was kind of, it was all new to me, but I had no fear. So it was all new to me, but I had no fear. I've probably got more fear now. I've got more respect for it. And it's definitely changed the way I act around business and money and stuff like that. But whereas you was the opposite, like, you were just scared to death of it. And especially with regards, like, I was getting advice from people back home and stuff like that, people that I knew, and you were just like, I'm not signing as a director.
Yeah, I was like, get me off that.
Yeah. And I think the thing to think about is, and again, it's something I'm grateful for, is it didn't happen when I was younger, because if it had happened when I was younger, it would have been a car crash. It literally
Yeah.
would have been a car crash. I'd have got a Rolex, I'd have got a Ferrari on lease, and probably got a drink driving charge, and
I think
got
that's
filled in.
like the beauty of having so many kids, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, definitely. Like with regards, we obviously having the kids definitely saved. Like, well, it changed me completely once we had Giovanna and calmed me down a lot. But again, it just aligned, because if I hadn't done that at that point, I wouldn't have been ready to
yeah.
kind of run the business.
Well, everything happens for a reason.
So you keep saying. So obviously, then you come on board. Carol comes on board, and then obviously Gemma's transformation drops, and then kind of everything blows up from there. And talk to me how that was for you, because I haven't spoke on camera about it, but I've obviously spoke on the Sunday calls about it sometimes. How was that for you? And like, be honest, like obviously things were changing. I wasn't at home, was I really?
No.
How was that for you at the time?
As in, like, the impact of the change or just life in general?
Just all of it, yeah.
I think it was so busy I didn't really give much thought. We didn't have time to sit and think about it. We really didn't. You were out working and I just kind of took the reins with the kids, but that's never really bothered me.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love chucking everyone in pickup and just, getting them out and running around with them and doing everything like that. That stuff has never really bothered me. Like I say, we were just doing our parts to make like the whole thing work, I suppose, weren't we?
Yeah. So I've spoke about it on the Sunday calls, but probably never spoke about it on camera. But as Sam said and alluded to at the beginning, like, I'm quite extreme, aren't I? So once I get a taste of something, or once I set my mind to something, like, it's like all in. And one of the things that I said, and again, this might sound really extreme, but it depends what background you're from, is when it all started taking off, Sam, you were very calm about it, weren't you? Whereas I was a little bit more intense, as usual, but a little bit more intense about it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to let people down. Obviously, Gemma's transformation had played a big impact. I didn't want to let Gemma down. I realised we had an opportunity. I remember saying to yourself, like, we have a go to Dubai, piss it up the wall and have a great time and post a lot of pictures on Instagram, or I have a good go at this and make a business of it. But if I have a good go at it and make a business of it, it sounds a bit brutal, but you've kind of just got to play your part. Just leave me alone to get it done. And that was kind of the conversation that we had, didn't we? And I think that's something for people to realise. Like, it might look from the outside as if we were working like as a partnership, and we definitely were. You were doing your bit and I were doing mine. But it wasn't this like airy fairy world where we were sitting down and having conversations. And people were like, and I know people have asked it on there about date nights, and it's like, you have no understanding that to go from a standstill to a six-figure business, there is no date nights, there is none of that. And I obviously take things to the extreme, and I'm well aware of that. But one of the things that I did is I wouldn't sleep in bed, would I? So I slept on the sofa with Roman, and my big thing was it's hard to get. I used to have this as an athlete, but it's hard to get up and do the work if you're comfortable, you're warm, you've got your partner next to you. It can make it harder to get out of bed. So I just slept on the sofa, didn't I?
Yeah.
For
about 6 months or something.
Probably longer, probably longer. Probably the first 12 months, because I was like literally just working. I still had my in-person clients. I was scared of telling them really what was going on because I didn't want to be judged. I'd always been known as that like council estate kid that did well for himself. I didn't want them to kind of get a sniff that their service might drop. And I was worried about that. I didn't want to let them down. But on top of that, I wasn't in a position to start passing things on. So I was literally just getting up at 6, answering messages, going into PTing all day, coming back at 10, working till probably 2 in the morning, and then go to bed, sleeping on the sofa for 4 hours. And it was literally like that till I went and met Phil, wasn't it? And Phil was like, you need to take someone on, you need to do something, you need to build a team now, because if you carry on, it's essentially, if you're a one-stop failure with regards if I get ill or whatever, and the business had grown that big. And even now, like, again, I don't want to go too much into our personal life, but I like to talk about it because I think it's important that people recognise. I hate when people are on Instagram being like, look at my 6-figure business, I do this much money a month and I sit next to the infinity pool in Dubai. And I'm sure some people do that, but the real life of it is we've got 4 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of take responsibility through the night for the elder 3, because I can deal with that. I can emotionally regulate with them. I can get them comfortable. You look after the baby.
Yeah.
And even now, majority of the time we don't sleep in the same bedroom, because
No.
again, when you're running a business of this size and you've got 4 kids,
Yeah.
it's not this fairy tale lifestyle people
No,
see.
but
Yes,
I think-
we get time away, don't we?
Yeah.
But that's been the reality of a business blowing up so quick.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
us not
and I
being
think
business people.
that's what I mean. I think people don't realise what
No.
goes into it, but it's just part and parcel of it.
Yeah, and that's one thing we've accepted from the start. And one of the things I've been really clear about from the start, and people that have been with JD Training for a long time, is we went away without the kids. Well, it's not last year, the year before, didn't it?
Oh yeah, well, I was pregnant with Zane, wasn't I?
Always pregnant. Always pregnant. But yeah, so we went away then, and I said exactly the same to you then, didn't
Yeah.
I? What do you want? Because JD Training took off. Obviously, there was a lot of notoriety coming. I was getting quite a lot of followers on Instagram. I was doing all these events, so I was away from home. I obviously PT loads of women, which again, if it was the other way around, I'm quite open to saying there's no chance I'd be having it, by the way. I think people see me as like this alpha male dominant person, and I am. But I think in our relationship, it's clear to say, like, I'm the emotional one.
You are an emotional wreck. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if it was the other way around, I wouldn't be half as comfortable as Sam has been with it. But again, we went away, didn't we? I sat you down, we got our diaries out, and I said to you, what do you want? What do you want? Because I think at that point, I recognised, obviously, with regards to the kids, with regards to everything, like the fact we don't spend as much time together as we probably should, the fact that we don't spend as much time together as a family as we should, because again, the business side, but obviously the dynamic of having young kids, and like the older kids need lots of young kids, and the older kids needing to do something, and
Yeah.
the baby not so much. So it would end up like a lot of people will know, is like, oh, you look after the baby, I'll take these 2 out.
Yeah.
And we was living separate lives, and still do sometimes.
Yeah.
But it was clear to sit down, come back to that, like the drawing board, and say, what is it that you want? Because I knew where it was going. Obviously, I was getting a proper buzz off finally living up to my potential, feeling like I've always felt, as you know, like you probably call it arrogance. I always felt like I was going to achieve something. I always had that inner feeling.
Yeah.
And I was kind of getting it, and I was riding that wave. But I remember going away and saying to you, like, what is it you want? Because if you want it to stop or slow down, you need to say so now. If you want me to run it and keep running it, you kind of tell me now. That's what's kind of... And like, I remember meeting my sister just as we flew out, and my sister, she doesn't mince her words, and she was like, you look like a cancer victim.
You did look rough that day, man.
I dieted down.
Yeah, you
I
had,
dieted down. I've been working 16, 17-hour days. We went away to...
It was in December as well, so you were quite pasty for you, weren't you?
Yeah, as now. Dan's going to put a good filter on it. But yeah, and this is the reality of running the business this size, and especially when people always, like, I used to have this argument with people all the time, like people would look and they would be like, oh, well, you could if I was walking into office and I had a shirt and tie on and I had 10 employees, people would be like, oh my God, he runs a big business.
Yeah.
But because there isn't that, it doesn't look like that from the outside. I'm still wearing a tracksuit. I'm still talking how I talk. I'm still walking how I walk.
Non-stop.
Yeah. And that was kind of the reality then, was like, okay, like, where do you want to go from here?
I do think that is what we do quite well. We had quite like understanding of the fact, like you say, like sometimes you do live completely separate lives, but
90% of the time.
yeah, but I think we're both like, well, yeah, but this is what it's going to take for like the bigger picture. Whereas I think some people have an expectation that you have all of that, you know, the business, the kids and everything else, and you also, like say, you know, lovey-dovey spend 24/7 with each other, like
that's
go out every 2 minutes. But I think that just adds an additional like pressure and expectation on your relationship, like that's it's unrealistic. That's just not.
Yeah.
If you want, you know, we want the family to do good, we want the family to thrive, so on and so forth, the kids do really well, we want the business to do the same. Obviously we want our relationship to do the same, but like I think it was Phil, did he say like you go like that, don't you?
Yeah.
And I think as long as you're like aware of that and don't give in to the sudden urge to smash Joe's face in every 2 minutes, then I think that you do. No, you've just got to be very understanding of each other, because it's not just for you and it's not just for me, and we're not just doing it for the kids, we're doing it so in like, I don't know, 15, 20 years, we can look back and be like, shit, we've got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it took this, but we've got it. And the kids are,
It's a team thing, innit? It just happens to be that I'm really good at this bit and you're really good at the other bit.
yeah.
It's not the fact of, like, I say it all the time, like, I don't expect you to make tea because you're a female. I expect you to make tea because I'm out grafting and I ain't got time to make tea.
And I'm a fantastic cook.
You're not.
I'm not.
Fucking not.
I'm not.
But, and also it goes back to when you were working on the Thursday, when you
Yeah.
used to work that Thursday, regardless of what happened, and I was fucking fuming about the fact that you were still working and didn't want to sign as a director, and you're like, you're just going to fiddle the tax. I'm like, have I got 2 kids? If I was going to fiddle the tax,
Three.
I'd have become,
Yeah,
I'd have become a drug dealer ages
Lost
ago.
one.
If I'd have moved to Cumbria and I was going to fucking chance it, I'd have become a drug dealer. And that was frustrating from my end, but your tea was always in the microwave. Like, always. It might have been a KFC wrap,
Yeah.
but it was always
yeah.
always in the microwave, wasn't it?
But
Because
we've always done that though.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's for me, people can easily look from the outside in, especially in this day and age where you've got people constantly try to divide people about toxic masculinity or feminists or whatever. It was a matter of it's a team effort,
Yeah.
and if you don't play your role as a team, don't bother coming to the table.
It funked.
Yeah, don't bother coming to the table.
No,
Like,
yeah.
do you know? And that was the thing. And that was the thing that I was clear of. But the one thing I've learned about myself, about the business, about development is every single time is to come back because I am quite dominant and you will just go with the flow.
Yeah, I'm just easy.
Yeah. Well, that's what Shep said. That's why I come to the party. Joking.
Fuck you.
So like it is to come back to that centre line and say, are you okay with this? What do you want? And I think a good thing to point out as well, there's been times where it's gone the other way, where I'm absolutely on my ass. I'm working like 18-hour days and you're like, oh, I think we should put more into ads. I think you should try to scale it. It'd help more people. And I'm like, it's not you doing the work. So we've argued that way as well, haven't we?
Oh yeah, you're always going to argue though. Like,
But we've argued that way.
Yeah.
I think it's good for people to see. It hasn't always been me. There's been times where I've gone, do you know what? Let's just settle here and rest. And you've gone, no, why don't we put more into ads?
Yeah.
And whereas people would often see that as like just me driving
Yeah.
the business. And at times you've been the one saying, push it.
Yeah.
And just for the record, that conversation went very, very quickly. It was like, I tell you what, you have all 4 kids. I'll move to Dubai and live in an apartment by myself, and I'll run the business as far as you want to go, as long as I don't have to do anything else. Because that's the reality.
and I
innit?
said, do you want me to find you the apartment? I was on Google like,
You'd move out, wouldn't you? I'm hard to live with. And I am hard to live with, and that's one thing, again, that's what people, I'll get to the question soon, but I am hard to live with, Anna.
yeah, you are, but like, you can't
Perks
have it
are
all.
worth,
You
perks
can't
are
have
worth it
all.
now.
Yeah.
It was hard to live with at the beginning, and the perks were definitely not worth it.
No, we
I
can't
was-
have it all.
I was a bit wild, and like I said, it is about just getting that across because people have got this vision of like
Yeah.
date nights or like I say this all the time. If you've spoke to people for 16 hours a day, if you think I'm doing that and coaching people and going through sensitive subjects, and then I'm coming in and holding a conversation and rubbing Sam's feet, you're wrong. Like,
But I think
you're not in
that's,
that position.
I think we are quite aware of each other though, and we do know when to leave each other alone. We do know when it's
Permanently.
just like, fuck off, bye,
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
bed.
Yeah.
But I always think as well, like, it's easy to, I do think, I don't want to generalise, but it's easy to look at Instagram and stuff like that, 'cause I think a lot of people do live their lives through that nowadays, don't they? And think that a relationship should look like your grid or should look like, you know, be just perfection. But you've got to remember that it's like, it only works if you keep that like sense of duty, I suppose, to each
Yeah.
other. Like, it's not
It's not even
about,
to each other, is it? It's to the bigger picture of
Yeah,
the kids.
yeah.
I think the sense of duty is absolutely bang on. It is, and that's one thing. Obviously,
it's not all, you know, you don't sit there.
we don't. We don't take any money out. I think the thing to say, like, we're going away tomorrow, and obviously we go. It might to some people that might be like, oh, well, you run this business. Surely you're going to Dubai or you're going this. We go to Alton Towers on a regular basis.
Legoland.
Legoland, and then Drayton Manor, because when we do get them bits of time, yes, we spend time together, but we spend time as a family, and we recognise the kids suffer as well in amongst all this. And this is something that I don't hide. The kids have to miss out on certain things, especially because we've got so many of them.
Yeah.
Like, I can't just have 2 kids all the time and you take me
Yeah.
to parties. And that's, again, like when we're busy and at certain key points is when we do get the chance, we focus on the kids, don't we? We take them away, we get them to have experiences. But it is just making sure that people do recognise the fact that it doesn't this picturesque kind of relationship when you're running a business. You make sacrifices, but you make sacrifices. It's not even for each other. It's for that greater good of the family, isn't it?
Everything.
Yeah, it's for and again, I talk about all the time, and I'm not joking when I say it. And it's fair to recognise, obviously, from your end, is I do nothing to her.
No.
apart from work, which I do, like, hence why Dan's going to have to put a great filter on this because I look like I've just done 100 hours. But apart from work and training, which obviously you accept I've done since we met and I've got to do just to be emotionally stable.
Oh, yeah, feed us off the gym.
Sam used to say all the time, like...
I've been reversing that pickup, like, do I just go straight over him? Like, do I
Sam would say all the time, especially before we had kids and we were a bit more volatile, weren't we, both of us? We'd argue, like a good argument.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect. Like, I'm a bit of a nutter when I want to be.
You was. I don't think you are now.
I've calmed down, yeah.
You was, but I think at the beginning
I'm not saying you're, like, horrendous now.
No, but it was a bit more volatile, and I remember you used to often say, just fucking go have your personality juice and fuck off to the gym, meaning pre-workout.
Yeah.
That kind of used to be your words, didn't it? Just go have that and just go to the gym, because it's something that I massively need to emotionally regulate. So apart from going to the gym, going to jiu-jitsu and getting beat up and working, you do everything else. I don't take the bins out.
No.
I don't do the shopping. I just about get to the nativity plays, but you organise all the kids' stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, Carol kind of goes through you. Family stuff goes through you.
Yeah.
If anything breaks, you have to get the roof fixed. You have to, like, I obviously work and pay for it, and I generally foot the bill, and I control the money and that kind of stuff, don't I? Yeah. But literally everything else you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people need to realise is, like, Sam does work within the business. She is very much within the business, but I do nothing to her. And this is, when I'm obviously helping some coaches and I'm speaking to other coaches, that's the kind of sacrifice. People are like, oh, do you not have a social life? Do you not do this? Do you not see your friends? Do you not like gardening? I'm like, I do nothing but work, gym.
But that's the realism of it, though. I think people think, like, you people talk and that, it must be great being a stay-at-home mum. I'm thinking, I'm not just fucking hell. I'll swap you.
Yeah, and I wouldn't swap. I think that's fair to say as well. Like, I wouldn't swap.
No.
You
also have to be really, like, we were as well really clear with each other at the start. And I'm not saying I took to it like a duck to water at the start, because I was a bit like, you can get to fuck, mate. But you have to know your roles and not hold it against each other. And sometimes it's difficult, because, like, say, I could have had a meeting at school for Giovanna's stuff. I could have been dentist appointment. I could have done loads of stuff, and I'll sometimes come back. He's sat in bed with his bloody hoodie on, looking like Gargamel, sat on his laptop, and I'm thinking, you've not even got out of fucking bed. But then I have to remember that you're not just sat in bed. You were working all night and you're working now, and not to hold it against you.
It's true,
and vice versa. Like,
that's what people need to see, the dynamics of that, because what people don't see, and I suppose that's what I'm doing. But I was going to bed as you was taking the kids to school. And again, that's something I'm quite real on, and it has impacted. I would probably say more so this year, it's impacted my health a little bit. But to work all through the night, it's just the way it is sometimes, unless you build a big team. And if you build a big team, you then have the risk of paying the team, you then have less profit margins, and it's got to be done a certain way.
Managing people.
And it's got to be done a certain way, because I'm borderline autistic about the standards that I expect for every single client.
Yeah.
So it is true, and that's the dynamic of seeing it from your side as well. You've run round, you've took the kids to school, blah, 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 and you're like, you're fucking joking. But what people don't see is, like you say, the fact that I didn't come in till 6 in the morning. Yeah. And also you go to bed at about 9 o'clock.
I don't go to bed at 9 o'clock. I sometimes fall asleep on the sofa.
Sam's to bed at 9 o'clock. I'm like, how do you sleep? I've got this much drive. I want to change the world. And you're like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I know, but when you've got the mental tick of 4 kids, like, Mom, and then Sam, here, Sam, come here, Sam, look at this, Sam. I'm like, it's a fucking wonder I need to turn it off every now and again, is it? I'll end up just as mental as you.
You turn it off, all right. Right, I think that gives you a bit of background anyway about, like, JD training and stuff like that. So we'll go to the questions. So I've asked some of the community. I think they're just trying to stitch me up, to be honest. But we'll go to some of the questions of what people have asked, because I think this is probably what people have wanted for a while. They've wanted to see the dynamic. Not that I always say this, like, I am completely open about my experiences, the fact that yes, it might look like I've got all my shit together right now, but there's been many a times in the past where I haven't, and I've been very, very clear and open about that. I've been open about the fact that there's loads and loads of things, like I've given up drinking. I wasn't good in drink. Let's
No.
say
Oh my God, no.
say the worst. But again, it's about understanding what serves you, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about understanding what
Well,
serves
that comes
you.
with age as well, and like.
It comes with kids. It didn't come with age.
Yeah.
I was a full on. I think it's easy to say, like, I had 2 mortgages, I'd had a serious job, I'd had quite a bit of trauma, I'd seen a lot of trauma, I'd seen suicide, I'd been to coroner's court, I'd been to Crown Court, I'd done everything a man essentially was meant to do. And I realised quite quickly when that baby come out, like, I'm not a man, and I need to sort my shit out. And that was the wake up call for me, wasn't it? Really. But yeah.
Oh yeah, you had a black eye when he was born, didn't you? Proper granny bruise.
Robo's fault again. I got filled in a karaoke bar.
I think you fell over. I think you were just drunk and fell over. There's no way someone's hit you that.
I got filled
that
in.
Sweet.
I got filled in, but at a karaoke bar. But we won't go into that. Right. So let's get into the questions then. And like I say, I think people try to stitch me up. Let's go with top tips for staying on track while juggling life, the kids, and work from Christy Tonks.
Oh, I don't know. You just got to do it. That's there's no magic. I wish there was, but there isn't. You have just, doesn't matter if you're knackered, don't matter if the kids are throwing up. You know, you've just got to.
Like the one last night.
Yeah, you've just got to do it. And I do think sometimes people look and think, oh, well, it's all right for you because you've got Joe there, and you know you've got that gym. But after I had Amoeba, that's when like I lost like all of the 3 baby weights, really, wasn't it? And I was literally, we didn't have the gym. I had 2 dumbbells, and I was just doing it all at home, wasn't I? And it don't matter if it was 10 o'clock at night. If I got the baby settled and it was whatever, I would just go in and I would just do it, wouldn't I? And you just got to do it. Yeah.
And I think that's what people don't realise. People will often be like, oh, you've got Joe. Like, I don't know if you've ever thought about coming downstairs after Sam's been up with the kids and going, have you weighed in this morning? Like,
oh my gosh,
it's not going to work, is it? So I've always stayed completely out of Sam's journey. And if she wanted to do it, she did it for her. And that's how the app kind of started, wasn't it? Because the app was like, yes, my clients were using us, and you were going, oh, I'm going to get in shape. And I was like, look, I'll just put it on the app. You do you. I'm not getting involved. There's enough going on with the kids, with the business, with me. We ain't got that. We didn't have that dynamic. And I say to people all the time, people are like, oh, well, yeah, I've been trying to do it with my husband. I was like, listen, I'm a PT and a very good one at that, and I can't do it for my missus. So it is a very hard dynamic to crack.
And just don't, like, you know, there'd be some days, for example, I'll go to do a workout and I get 10 minutes in and I'm like, it's just not going to happen today. But just, even if you think it's not going to happen or it's not going to be very good, just do, you know, if it's a 15-minute one, that, you know, just do it.
Yeah. So Helen Parslow said, was she into fitness and nutrition before meeting you, and what does she eat on a standard day?
So I've always done sports. I've actually got...
Sam's actually qualified.
I am I've been a qualified PT since I was 18. I have a foundation degree in sports coaching. So I do know my shiz, if you like. I've always played sport. I've always played football. I've always played netball. I did go to the gym. I did. But when I went to Australia, I'll be honest with you, I just lived my best life. And then came back from Australia, joined the prison service. And although I was still doing workouts and stuff, I was also still enjoying going and getting pissed every 2 minutes. And, you know.
I always say that, and again, it's probably, you meet people at the right time, but I say it all the time, like, you just come back, you had them stupid fucking hippie pants.
Proper hippie. And all Joe's ex-girlfriends.
I'm from Bali, and let's have a few drinks, and it's exactly what I needed at the time.
All Joe's ex-girlfriends literally looked like swimsuit models, and I rocked up. I had braids in my hair, tassels around my ankles, like brightly coloured.
True story. True story.
I was
now
like,
look. So yeah, you have been into fitness, but never... And I think the thing to say on that as well, and I'm dead open about this, people are like, she'll kill you if she hears you say it. I don't know if you've spent any time in my company, but I just say what I want and you either get on board or you don't. But
which is why most people dislike him.
Yeah, but they come because they know I'll get results. They don't have to like me, they have to respect me and get results. But no, on a serious note, from a fitness perspective, I openly say, like, I can massively respect when someone gets in incredible shape. I can massively respect it. It's much harder for a female to get abs than a male, because obviously
I've got abs.
You did have at some point. The predisposition to hold on to body fat estrogen, all the rest of it. But I was very open as well when you started getting to the point, didn't you, where you were buzzing off being so lean.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not like my cup of tea physically, with regards, not professionally, but personally. But again, it's as a man, for me, it was absolutely key for me to recognise that's where you felt at your best at the time. So I remember us going away to York, and you massively felt at your best, didn't you? You felt really good. We went to Alton Towers. You felt really good in your bikini. Whereas, again, I would say at that point you were very lean, but I've always just kind of stayed out of it and said, well, you do you and what makes you feel good, which is obviously not my normal disposition. Carol's put, how she managed to put up with you for so long. Got no choice now with the kids.
I don't know. I used to drink a lot, maybe.
Yeah, got no choice.
And then we had kids, so I'm going to stop.
yeah. No one's taking on them 4 kids.
No.
And no one's taking on them 4 kids, an absolute psychopath of an ex-boyfriend, so you've got no chance now.
Yeah.
Faye's put, 10 years' time, where do you see yourselves?
Oh, good question. I don't know. I don't know. I've never really thought about where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I didn't have a plan for.
I know. I think we're not very planners like that way.
I always say this, genuinely mean it. Like, if I don't plan, so if I was to look at my diary for next week, the week after, you might remember this from the first podcast that I did, is literally I would have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
If I had to look at the hours I had to do, the different tasks, so I just go day to day, I give 100% to absolutely everything, I try my best, and we just let it run from there. So yeah, I've never planned. The only thing I would say is obviously we've discussed potentially, I know it's obviously not happened this time, but we've discussed potentially going abroad at some point, haven't we? For various reasons. But yeah, I wouldn't say we've planned.
Not necessarily. Just like, I suppose just in a place where we're like happy and, kids are healthy and, like the main things, as long as they're in place, we can kind of tackle anything.
Yeah, cool. How does she manage to stay committed to exercise and healthy eating while raising children of different ages, with school drop-offs, after-school clubs, household responsibilities and works? Something usually has to give. Does she have a plan to make it all work? How does she handle your energy and relentless drive? Does she wear the pants on the outside like Superwoman? Because that's the vision I have of her, and that's from Amanda Hoyle. So go with the first one. How do you stay committed to exercise, healthy eating with everything going on with the kids and stuff like
that? I think I recognised when we got into like multiples of children that if I don't work out for a few days, I can be a bit of a bitch. So I've got to be right first, and then everything else can be right.
Yeah, and I think that come a little bit later to you, didn't it?
Yeah.
So like I was always like that from the start, and I've been like that from a kid. Like if I go to gym and do what I need to do, everything else kind of falls in line. Whereas you kind of got that, didn't you? Like probably around a Mira time, wasn't it? You realised then at that point, well, if I'll have a mental breakdown here.
Yeah.
If I don't think. So with regards that, how do you balance it with regards responsibilities, with regards obviously school pickups, the house stuff? Because it's something I've had to. I used to be anal in the house, didn't I? And I'm a lot better now. Like for me, if something wasn't in the right place, it'd drive me mad. But obviously having 4 kids, you have to let go of that, otherwise you'll go crazy. So how do you balance that?
I think you've just got to be quite clear with yourself about what it is you prioritise and what it is that's going to give you like the best situation, like, whatever the situation may be, like what is the best version, what are the 4 or 5 things, whatever it is that you need to get done, so that if anything else crops up, you can kind of handle it. And as long as you stick to them, I think that, because you're never going to balance it all. You're never going to, things will always crop up and derail you or whatever. But if you have like a set standard of things that you're like, no, I get this done regardless of whatever, then the rest of it you can kind of just manage as it comes along.
Yeah, and
but you've got to decide what that looks like for you, because what it is for me will be completely different to what it is for somebody else.
Yeah, and I think the thing, that responsibility of taking care of yourself for me is important.
When I go, I don't think like this has got to be the most optimal workout where I've got to hit PBs, it's got to be perfect. It's like if I do a little bit and then play Floor is Lava for 20 minutes because that's what the kids want, then we're still there. I'm still getting it done. I've still done bits that I need to do. I think you've just like, but perfect just doesn't exist.
Yeah, last couple. So Emma Simpson. Emma is an OG. She's been around for a long time, and like I said, I've got a lot of time for Emma because she's one of the ones that always asks, "How's the kids? How's Sam?" But Is Joy easy to live with?
No. There we go.
She did say I probably know the answer and she does know me quite well. My question would be, does Joe show you the love and affection that he should as a partner and parent, given the long hours and manic lifestyle you both live, bringing 4 kids up under the age of 6?
So I think we are quite good at this in the aspects that we don't sit there and think, oh, there's got to be this like dramatic show of undeniable love or whatever it is. But we do little things all the time, like fetch each other energy drinks, because that is our love language. And protein bars, or like, you know, it's little things like that we consistently do. So we do know that like the other, you know,
it's the reality, innit? Like we spoke about just before. It's that we play our roles, don't we?
Yeah.
Like playing the role isn't trying some macho thing. It's out of respect. If someone's going to have your kids, they're going to bring up your kids. They're going to make your meals. They're going to look after the house. If you can't respect that and you can't do your best for them people, whatever that looks like on any given day, for me, what's the point? Like you shouldn't be in a relationship. So it's not so much the rubbing the feet and the affection, and that will probably come as the kids get older.
Yeah.
We'll go away more. We obviously went away to Manchester recently, but it's kind of we both kind of at peace with where we are right now in our lives, what the kids need, what we need, what the business needs. So there's not this massive, you're not going to get roses anytime soon, are you?
No.
Cool. Another one here. How do you manage to keep a strong relationship around your solid work commitments and training schedule? And that's from Laura Thompson.
We know when to leave each other alone. We know what each other needs and when we need it. And we, you know, you've got to learn as well to... I heard this quote and it's going to sound proper cringe now, but it was something like unspoken expectations is like resentment or untold resentment or something like that. And it's like, I think you've just got to be really clear with each other. I know, I couldn't remember what it was, but I knew what I meant. But you've got to be really clear with each other, especially if you try to build something at the same time and manage kids, and that like it's not you and it's not me and it's not the kids, it's we are like one.
I love, and this again.
Me?
No, I love how all these like emotional questions are aimed at you. When actually, I'd think you're probably.
I'm the least emotional human being.
And also, you're miles better at it than me. Like, it's me who's going to have. I have resentment, don't I? I speak about it quite often.
Yeah.
Like, I build up resentment because I give so much to everybody and everyone around me. It's me that builds up resentment. It's me that's probably a little bit more needy and demanding. And people don't see that in our dynamic because, again, I go to gym, do jiu-jitsu. I've always been the guy that's good at sport, obviously PT. And I think people don't realise that it's probably me that's the emotional one. I remember we watched PS I Love You.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, why are you not fucking crying?
I was like, it's not real.
Yeah, and I always say to Sam, like, Sam's the kind of person you'll come home one day and she'll have left. And you'd know nothing about it. Whereas for me, I'll be telling you for a good 5 years, like, I'm going to leave. You're like, go on then.
I know, but in my defence, if I could ever get a word in bloody edgeways, Joe, I mean, you might know a bit.
And that kind of says the dynamic, doesn't it? Last one then, before we wrap it up. James New, good old Chipper. Get up there, Chip. Good lad. He says, what's Joe's worst habit?
Oh.
Plenty of them.
Probably that you do have conversations with yourself in your head and expect everybody else to know about this conversation and know what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and that's true. And I live on a frequency that's, I think, it's just much higher than other people. Yeah, mental. And again, I would say it's definitely my strength because again, with regards to work, the hours, the attention to detail, that same attention to detail and that level of frequency and work ethic is then obviously doesn't switch off, does it? So then it's like I am on a frequency. I'm running around. I'm always literally to the letter. And again, if I do feel like I've had conversations, I'm like, how can you not know this is what's happening? And you're like, well,
because it's never actually come out of your mouth, mate.
Yeah. Cool. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of an insight into, I suppose, our relationship. It's what you've all been waiting for. So hopefully it's lived up to the expectation and you've enjoyed hearing a little bit more.
And you realise that we're just two really boring people.
Yeah, we are very boring. And next time Sam's on, we'll get Sam on again and talk about her journey more. But people seem to want to know about the dynamic, the business, kind of what it takes as a couple. You think there's going to be this perfect picture. You think they're this perfect human beings. And a lot of time it just looks really messy. They've just been super, super consistent. And that's kind of the message here. So hopefully you got some insights. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like, drop a comment, share it on your stories, and we'll see you next time.